Well, today we honor a couple of veterans, father and son. Barney Clark served in World War II as a medic and a bombardier trainer. His son Gary was in the Marine Corps during Vietnam. Like a lot of veterans, they did their duty and served their country. That service was important, but what this family endured and achieved after their service gained worldwide attention in the field of medicine.
Is that you?
That's me and Mom and Dad.
Not many people have a family member whose name is known around the world. But as Gary Clark of Terre Haute looks through the pages of a book about the world's first artificial heart recipient, he is filled with pride about Barney Clark, his dad.
If you want to say hero worship, that's who I would look up to.
In December 1982, the Seattle dentist survived a 7-hour surgery to remove his heart and replace it with an artificial heart called the Jarvik 7. His own enlarged heart was failing because of cardiomyopathy. The procedure had been tried on animals with some success, but never on a human. Gary says his dad knew the risk, but he wanted to do it anyway.
Medicine had been pretty good to him, and he wanted to do something for medicine. And he thought as long as he's going to die, if he could help, other humans or other people, by doing this, then he thought he should.
After the procedure, things looked promising, and his parents shared a rather funny moment.
They asked Mom that if he survived and he had guests and he got tired, would she ask the guests to leave? Well, Mom just, that's not Mom. And she had a hard time answering that one.
A couple of days after the procedure, Gary traveled from Seattle to see his dad in Salt Lake.
I walked in the room and he said, "Hello, son, how are you?" And he kind of sat up a little bit and shook my hand, and that was pretty emotional.
Gary says the doctors and his parents were optimistic. In fact, they were planning for a life in Salt Lake, and Gary and his mom actually looked for a house for his parents near the Utah hospital. But then there were a series of setbacks. One half of the heart failed, so they had to replace it. And then there were the nosebleeds from tubes, which was hard to stop. Gary says that led to infection, which was the beginning of the end. 112 days after receiving the Jarvik 7, Barney Clark passed away. Gary and his brother were back in Seattle when it happened, and Gary received a call from his brother who had heard about it on the news.
So he had called me to tell me that he had died because he didn't want me to hear it the same way he did.
Gary's mom was with her husband throughout the 112 days, and after he passed, she became a spokesperson for the American Heart Association. She spoke before Congress and had a personal meeting with President Reagan in the Oval Office.
Meeting the president, and she runs up to him and says, "Oh, Ronnie," and gives him a hug, and the Secret Service is about beside themselves. Couldn't figure out quite what to do.
Besides the many memories of his mom and dad, Gary has a constant reminder of his connection to his father. That's because he also has cardiomyopathy.
Why I haven't regressed as much as Dad did, I don't know.
But as you saw, Gary is doing well and his doctors monitor his condition. By the way, if you're wondering, Gary moved to Terre Haute a number of years ago because of family. He's also a friend of mine, and I want to thank him for sharing this story. Still ahead in our second half hour of Live at 5, the latest on a new report from the